He sets the kick and the pitch. He struck him out. Righetti has pitched a no-hitter. Dave Righetti has pitched a no-hitter. He strikes out Boggs for the final out of the ball game. And the Yankees pour on the field to congratulate Dave Righetti. A no-hitter for Righetti.
Frank, that had not been done since 1956 when Don Larson pitched his perfect game.
Hello again, this is Mike and I am the Sports History Collector. Today we're going to talk about Dave Righetti and his 1983 no-hitter. First, a little background on Dave Righetti. He pitched parts of 16 years in the major leagues, mostly for the Yankees. Pitched a couple years for the Giants and finished up with White Sox. I think he pitched for Toronto too, if I remember right. But that was just at the very tail end of his career and only partial years. He was a good pitcher. It was not a Hall of Fame type pitcher, although if things would have worked out a little differently, you never know. I mean, he had the talent. There's no two ways about it. He ended up his career with an 82-79 win-loss ratio and a 3.46 ERA with 252 saves. He was a two-time All-Star and he was a Rookie of the Year. After his career ended, he joined the San Francisco Giants and became their pitching coach in the year 2000. Same year, it was his fine work with the Giants pitching staff that helped get them to the World Series and all the way to Game 7 where they lost against the Angels. But he continued working with the staff and as new pitchers came on. And they went 3 more times to the World Series where they won all 3. 2010, 2012, and 2014. He deserves a lot of credit. He worked real well with those pitchers. And he had a knack for teaching how to keep the ball in the ballpark and not giving up a lot of home runs, and that goes a long way. So kudos to Mr. Righetti as being not only a fine player but a fine coach. He served in that capacity till 2017, where he took a position in the front office for the Giants, and just recently this year he was a bullpen coach for Team USA on the WBC, where they went to the finals against Japan, which, as of this taping, was last night. I think it was last night, and they lost to Japan, but it was a close game, great game, and again, his coaching, he did a good job. Anyway, so let's go back to 1983. Righetti was in the league for parts of 4 seasons at that point. He was a starter up to that point. And this was July 4th, 1983, 2 days before the All-Star game. Now, he had been overlooked in the All-Star game to begin with when the pitchers were chosen, which made him upset. But Ron Guidry, who was picked from the Yankees, was a last-minute cancellation, and he got overlooked. Dave Righetti got overlooked again, which really pissed him off. Now, looking back at it, the game was on Sunday that he was scheduled to pitch Sunday, July 4th. The All-Star game was the 6th. I'm sure that had some thinking, something to do with the thinking there that, he wouldn't be able to be used, so why pick him? But, Righetti was having none of that. So, and he was just coming off a complete game shutout, his prior pitching performance. And so he was pissed. And he went out. It was a 94-degree day, July 4th. 94 on July 4th in California, not so bad, but New York, it was sweltering. And but he was bound and determined to prove something. So he went out, put the pedal to the metal, struck out 7 of his first 9. Now, to his credit, catcher Butch Weiniger went out and talked to him, and then started calling more of a game where the ball would be put in play. He knew that in that type of weather, using that gas that early, that he was never going to make 9 innings if he kept doing that. Now, looking back at this, that might not have necessarily been the best move, because the defense behind Righetti that day was kind of a substitute defense. Greg Nettles was out with a pink eye, so Bert Campaneris, 40-year-old shortstop, was playing third base. Roy Smalley, probably the slowest man in the league, was playing short. Dave Winfield, a real good, if not great, outfielder, corner outfielder, was playing center. Not really his position, and at first base they were using a rookie who hadn't played many games, some guy named Don Mattingly. So it was kind of a hodgepodge at that point, but they stood behind him and did a real fine defensive job. Righetti got through the 9 innings, pitched his no-hitter. He ended up with, like I said before, he struck out 7 of his first 9 batters. He ended up with 9 strikeouts at the end, so he toned it down a little bit, tried to hit his spots. Ended up walking 4, probably strategically. 2 of those walks were Jim Rice, which he could have changed the outlook of the game really quickly. But 2 of the strikeouts he got were against Wade Boggs, which is very impressive, including, as you saw in the clip leading into this, the last out of the game. So Righetti got his no-hitter, and the Yankees won the game 4-0. And to represent the game, I have here from left to right in the front, we have a 1983 Dave Righetti Topps card. I always like this set. I like the round circle in the front with the headshot, and then the action shot in the back. To the right of that is a ticket stub from the game, and behind that on the right is a Yankees magazine. This was kind of special because some of these signatures are kind of hard to get. Well, it's impossible to get now, but you don't really see them on magazines like this, because some of these guys were not that desirable of necessarily an autograph. And I have seen this magazine signed by just Righetti and sometimes one other, but very rarely all these people that have signed. So on this magazine, from left to right, you have Sammy Ellis, who was the pitching coach. You have Lee Walls, which was a coach, and if you look it up, it doesn't even show that he was necessarily coaching, but he was actually like a bench coach, and was really working for Billy Martin. They became friends in 1960 when they both played on the Reds together. So I suspect, besides being like a bench coach friend, he was also a drinking buddy, which Billy Martin liked to have around him. In the middle, in the back there, is Don Zimmer, and then Dave Righetti signed kind of up down there in the middle of his chest. And then next to that, you can see him in the background there, and he signed Don Baylor. And then the catcher was Butch Weiniger. On the very top, I don't know if you can see that here, Bert Campaneris signed just above the K in Yankees. And on the very bottom, by their feet, Wade Boggs signed it. Now Wade, like I said before, he struck out twice, and he was last out of the game. So very nice of him to sign that. Next to that is the Sports Illustrated of George Steinbrenner. Now, of course, George Steinbrenner owned the Yankees. And the little funny side note to this, July 4th is George's birthday, or was his birthday. And so you would think, well, this was a great birthday present, and it was. But Righetti was a favorite of Steinbrenner's. But on this day, for whatever reason, Steinbrenner decided to skip the game and go celebrate with his family in Florida. So he actually missed the game, and so I wonder if he missed any other games for that. But anyway, it was a good birthday present, and I really like this Sports Illustrated. I think it's kind of it was a unique idea, and he really signed it beautifully in front there, right across the horse's head. And I don't know, some people would have thought that more appropriate to sign on the horse's butt. But now. Anyway, that was the Dave Righetti no-hitter, July 4th, 1983. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep and find